the sin offering. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel when a person sins intentionally against any of the commandments of the Lord that should not be done, and he violates one of them. If he anoints priests sins to so as it brings guilt onto the people, he shall bring forth his sin. He has committed a bull without blemish to the Lord for a sin offering. He shall bring the bull to the opening of the tent meeting before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand on the bull's head and slaughter the bull before the Lord. The anointed priest shall take the bull's blood and bring it into the tent of the meeting. Then the priest shall dip his fingers into the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before the Lord in front of the veil and the sanctuary. Then the priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar and fragrant it before the Lord, which is in the tent of the meeting, shall pour the rest of the blood on the bull at the base of the altar and burnt offerings. It is at the door of the tent of meeting. Then he shall remove all of the fat of the bull that is for his sins offering, the fat that covers entrails, and all of the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, that the fat that is above them, which is on the lions, and the appendage on the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys, just as these are removed from the bull of peace, the sacrifice, and the priest shall burn them on the altar of the burnt offering, the skin of the bull and all its flesh, with his head and legs and entrails and his dung. All the rest of the bull he shall bring outside the camp of a ritual clean place at the ash pile, and burnt is on the wood fire. With it shall be burned on the ash heap. If the whole congregation of Israel commits to essential sin, and the matter is hidden from the eyes of the assembly, they do any one of the things that the commandments of the Lord should not be done, and they are found guilty, and the sins that they say commanded against the commandment becomes known to the congregation, shall offer a bull for a sin offering, and they will bring it before the tent of meeting. The elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before the Lord, and the bull will be slaughtered before the Lord. The anointing priest shall bring some of the bull's blood to the tent of meeting, and the priest shall dip his fingers in some of the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord in front of the veil, and he shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar that is before the Lord, which is in the tent of meeting, and he shall pour all of the rest of the blood at the basin of the altar, the burnt offering, that is at the opening of the tent of meeting. He shall remove all of the fat and burn it in the altar, and he shall do this bull just as he did the bull of the sins offering. This is what we will do to it, and the priest shall make anointment for them. They shall be forgiven. He shall bring the bull outside the camp and shall burn it just as he burned the first bull, and it is the sin offering to the congregation. Whenever a leader sins and he does intentionally any of the things that by the Lord commandments of the Lord his God should not be done, and it is found guilty, or his sin that he committed was made known to him, he shall bring as his offering a male goat without blemish, and he shall lay his hands on the head of the goat, and he shall slaughter it at the place where they slaughtered the burnt offering before the Lord. It is a sin offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering on his fingers and put it on the horns of the altar, the burnt offering, and he shall pour the blood on the base of the altar and the burnt offering, and he shall burn all of its fat at the altar, like the fat of the people, the peace sacrifice, and the priest shall make anointment from him from his sins, and he shall be forgiven. If any one of the common people should sin intentionally by doing one of the things that the commandments of the Lord should not be done, and is found guilty, or that his sin that he committed was unmade to him, he shall bring as his own offering a female goat without blemish for his sins that he committed. He shall lay his hands on the head of the sin offering, and he shall slaughter the sin offering and the piece of the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of its blood in his finger and put it on the horns of the altar, and he shall pour on the rest of the blood at the base of the altar, and he shall remove all its fat, just as the fat is removed from the peace sacrifice. And the priest shall burn it on the altar for a pleasant aroma to the Lord, and the priest shall make anointment for him, and he shall be forgiven. And if he brings a sheep or for a sin offering, he shall bring a female without blemish, and laying his hand on the head of the sin offering, he shall slaughter it in a sin offering in the place where the slaughter that burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering on his fingers and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and he the rest of the blood shall pour out at the base of the altar, and shall remove all the fat, just as the fat of the sheep is removed from the peace sacrifice. And the priest shall burn it into the altar as a food offering to the Lord, made by fire. And the priest shall make an anointment for his sin that he has committed, and he shall be forgiven.